Hello everybody, my name is Wildcard Games, and today we are going to discuss something I have been meaning to redo for a while now. My old Sombra Rework vid. Now, I believe my original video on this Sombra Rework is a bit outdated. This was made during a time where the landscape of Overwatch 2 was a lot different than it was now, prior to perks or 6v6 being added back. And the video itself is kind of bad due to a rendering issue that made the background music way too loud for some reason. I still don't fully understood what caused that rendering error, but to each their own. So I've decided to redo it, with a couple of minor adjustments to try and fit it into the new environment we find ourselves in, as well as to hopefully do a bit of further explanation as to why I want to make all these changes. Note, this is all speculation. I'm not saying my reworked Sombra should be added into Overwatch. If I had the capabilities and coding know-how, I would make this a workshop thing and let people experiment with it via that. But I don't have the expertise with the workshop in order to make that kind of thing happen. But if anyone watching this does have those capabilities and wish to do so, please let me know. But first, this video is sponsored by myself. If you like this style of video and want to see more like it in the future, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I usually ask at the end of the video, but I want to see what happens if I ask at the beginning for a change, because I heard it has better results. But without further ado, let's dive right into the video, shall we? First off, I still want to have it so that Sombra's class is changed from damage to support, sort of like how it was rumored when Overwatch 2 was originally announced. But I don't want to make her a primary healer, more so of a secondary, more utility-based support hero. Because a lot of the modern Overwatch 2 supports mostly feel like they're just primary healers with not that much in terms of utility inside of just burst healing. Note, I'm not counting Aqua into this at all. I know their kit was accidentally leaked, so everyone knows what it looks like, but their test weekend hasn't happened yet, so I am not including them in this conversation at all. I want to make her a utility-based hero, one where healing is not a major priority, more so an added bonus. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the main meat and potatoes of this video, talking about her kit. Now, in order to try and explain the reasonings of this choice, I have another video on my channel that was uploaded about a week ago as of me recording this that explains my reasoning as to why I want Sombra to be more utility support than just heal bot support. If you want to know my reason behind it, I would recommend watching that video. But let's get on to the meat and potatoes. Her brand new kit. Sombra's entire kit is being overhauled in some way, shape, or form to match this new support-oriented Sombra that I have planned out. But I will note, if you have any issues thinking some parts of this kit are either too weak or too strong, please let me know in the comments below. That's why they are turned on at all, is to give criticisms and critiques. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Starting off with Sombra's actual weapon, her primary, will roughly stay the same, albeit without the damage bonus that her original Opportunist passive did, so it's technically a nerf to damage. But at the same time, Overwatch 2's dev team has been known for just being really inconsistent when it came to Opportunist's damage bonus to begin with, but let's not get sidetracked. Let's discuss her passive first. I want to keep Opportunist's passive, but without the damage bonus it provides to hack targets, but instead causes any enemy who picks up a hacked health pack to get 50% less healing from the health packs. And they're also afflicted with the reveal debuff that Sombra gives to hacked enemies to begin with, allowing her allies to see them through the walls for the next 8 seconds. Speaking of hack, there are several things I want to change about it. First off, its cooldown is being bumped up from 6 seconds to 9 seconds, and you'll see why when it comes to the main changes. First off, Hack will be able to work on her allies, providing them with a passive healing that will heal them for 25% of their max HP over the course of 8 seconds. While not completely replacing other heroes when it comes to burst healing, this is a good bit of healing, of consistent healing, mainly for tanks. Because when it comes to just tank healing, outside of burst healing, there isn't that many decent options, especially for the bigger tanks like Roadhog or Reinhardt. Hack will also be given a special perk when it comes to hacking allies. It will increase their ability recharge speed by 20% for 5 seconds, and increase the recovery rate of shields on certain heroes by 15%. This won't affect that many, it's just the primary 3 that you think of being Rhine, Sigma, and Brig. But having some sort of passive barrier recovery, I feel, would work well for those heroes in particular. Hack's usage on allies is limited to 12 seconds, being represented by the blue swirl that will flow around them, similar to how it was in the Mirror Watch game mode. And it is similar just to how the reveal debuff exists in modern Overwatch. How you cannot hack an already hacked ally. This also just makes it so that you can't just stack the buffs onto the same ally infinitely to make them practically unkillable. And if you use a hack on an ally, the full 9-second cooldown will be applied. Moving from hacking allies, let's go to hacking enemies. Hacks can still work on enemies. Still applies the same half-second ability lockout everyone seems to hate. It still reveals enemies for those 8 seconds, but will now make it so that enemies deal 15% less damage to your allies. This will count as damage mitigation for the stat sheets for those who are curious. This won't affect any of the healing outputs that require damage, like Ana or Juno, since their healing output on their allies is tied to their damage output. But it will allow Sombra to assist her other support by being able to hack a flanking DPS who's infiltrated into your backline to make it harder for them to get those picks for a short period of time. If hack is used on an enemy, the cooldown is halved, rounded up, so 5 seconds. But at the same time, you cannot hack the same enemy until the previous round of debuffs is removed. Sort of like how it works in the standard base game. Hack still works on enemy deployables, same as always, but it won't work on any ally deployables. Mainly because there really isn't anything I could think of that would make the game completely unfair, outside of maybe being able to undo an enemy Sombra's hack. I'm just bringing this up so no one would really ask, because I know someone will more than likely ask about it. Hacking health packs is going to work different too. Like I said, the Opportunist passive change makes it so that enemies who pick up a health pack only get half of the healing they would normally get from a health pack. So 38 from a small and 125 from a mega, as well as not be cleansed of any damage over time effects that they are currently suffering from. Hack health packs on allies work the same as they normally do, but grants them a 10% speed boost for 3 seconds. The word got cut off there, so I got confused for a second. But this little buff will allow them to get back into a fight quicker, but at the cost of Sombra only being able to have 3 hacked health packs at a time. Each health pack is hacked to last for 60 seconds instead of 45, so it gives them a bit longer of a hacked health pack uptime. But if she attempts to hack a 4th health pack, the oldest hacked health pack will no longer be hacked. I have said hacked health pack way too many times in the same breath, but let's just get a little bit more to go. Hacked health packs will also provide a small bit of ult charge when an ally picks up a health pack, but it will provide slightly bit more if an enemy picks up and gets hit with all those nasty debuffs. Again, because I want her to be more so utility-based support than a healing one, it gives a bit more. It makes a bit more sense to allow her to get a bit more ult charge from the utility from it, rather than just the raw healing that it used to back when Sombra was first added. That, and I don't want another incident that first happened when Sombra was released, where she was able to instantly gain 30 ult charge because of the allies just picking up her health packs after she immediately fired off her ult. That was just a wee bit too strong, if you ask me. Now, I know people are going to say, if hack isn't to be used for both allies and enemies now, how are we going to be able to specifically choose which one we want? Simple. You can either have hacked enemies and allies share a cooldown, but you have to hit a different button, similar to how Soldier's Stim Pack worked when it was first added. Or you can just have them each tied to a different ability button, similar to how Soldier's Stim Pack works in the modern stage after they had to rework it due to it being so clunky. And with the more complicated ability rework out of the way, let's get on to Virus, which hopefully isn't going to be as complicated. Hopefully. Virus will now gain a small bit of piercing, allowing it to pass through up to 2 additional targets, meaning 3 targets in total can be affected by the effects of Virus. Set effects, much like Hack, will work differently depending on if it hits an ally or if it hits an enemy. Let's start off with allies first. On impact, Hack will grant allies a small bit of overhealth, equaling 10% of their max HP, with a hard cap of 50 overhealth that will start decaying after 3 seconds. Virus will also grant allies a 5% attack speed buff for 5 seconds, and cleanse any debuffs they're afflicted with. Virus's overhealth will be increased to 20% of an ally's max HP, with a hard cap of 75 overhealth, but it will start decaying immediately, and the attack speed bonus will be doubled, but the duration is halved if the ally is hacked. Similar to how her modern Virus, the damage is faster, but the duration is halved for it. Virus on enemies is going to be slightly changed. The impact will be toned down to 25 damage, and the hack damage, of course, will be reduced as well due to this fact. And the damage over time is reduced from 75 over the course of 2 to 4 seconds, which depends mainly on if they're hacked or not, to a flat 30 over the course of 5 seconds, and its duration will not be affected by hack at all. What will be changed is the new perk that I'm giving it to enemies affected by Virus. Enemies affected by Virus will take 15% more damage for 15 seconds. Similar to Zenyatta's Orb of Discord, but it doesn't require a constant line of sight to get the damage amplification increased. And if an enemy is hacked, this duration is increased to 25%. Note, Sombra's Virus won't be able to be applied to herself, but it can be applied via Echo's duplication. I'm only putting this little note here because it'll be important for the video later on. And moving on from virus, we have the translocator. Sombra's translocator is going to be the most vanilla change in this entire rework, with the only real change is that its effective range is going to be increased to 25 meters, just to give her a bit more room to escape if things get hairy. Stealth will still automatically be triggered upon translocating, but let's discuss the full stealth changes right now. Stealth is getting a full-blown rework. First off, it's going to have its own ability hotkey again, and not be specifically tied to just the translocator button. It's not going to be perma-invis like how it used to be, but it'll run off of a resource meter, similar to something like Spy's invis watches from TF2. It'll give her, let's say, about 60 meters worth of movement before she fully depletes the meter, if it's at full. This will give her a bit more movement than what she has now in game, which is roughly around 40 meters if you're not just sprint jumping. And if she uses invis and remains still, it'll last for roughly 15 seconds. Resource for stealth meter cannot be recovered until she is out of stealth for more than 1.25 seconds. And it will have a recovery rate of 7.5% every second, meaning it should take about 13 seconds if recovering from empty. And Sombra will not be able to use stealth at all if her resource meter is under 20%, unless she is put into stealth automatically by translocator, which it will automatically recover up to 20% of her resource meter to allow her to become invisible, but only if it's used while she's under 20% meter. Her move speed bonus is being reduced slightly from 60% to 50%, just so it won't melt through her meter as fast, but it's still a good bit of mobility for her to get out of certain sticky situations. Hacking allies while in stealth will not reveal Sombra, but hacking enemies will still have Sombra exit stealth like it does in the base game. Nothing's being changed there. But I am having it changed so that Sombra's stealth meter is 3 meters while she's actively moving, but it will slowly increase to up to 6 meters if she stands idle for longer than 3 seconds, and will slowly begin to distort and wear off, and Sombra will be in her revealed state if she is idle in one spot for longer than 7 seconds. This is mainly to prevent the camping strat that Sombras like to use, where they just pop stealth and hide in the corner. Stealth's cooldown is going to be a bit weird. If you're in an active combat, meaning you are actively firing her primary to damage enemies, or if you are actually taking damage from enemies, you are unable to enter stealth at all via the keybind, and you must use your translocator to enter stealth. And you'll need to be out of combat for 3 seconds in order to use stealth, quote unquote, during a fight. I'm saying 3 seconds because in the script I originally said long enough for your passive health regeneration to kick in, but then I realized she's support now, might as well just say it's 3 seconds of combat. The standard stealth cooldown, like I said, is 1.25 seconds when manually removed from stealth, so long as the resource meter is above 20%. Last but not least, we have her ultimate, the EMP. First thing I'm doing is I'm bumping its ult charge by 30% due to all the changes that Sombra's received due to health packs now providing ult charge again. EMP will work on both allies and enemies, similar to Hack and Virus, but with minor changes for each side. For enemies, instead of taking 25% of their current health from the EMP blast, it is now 10% of their max HP regardless, but it cannot kill any enemies, so it will leave them at a minimum floor of 1 health. Allies within the blast get 10% of their max HP healed up immediately, and both sides will be granted their respective buffs and or debuffs from hack. A major downside for this new EMP change is due to the fact that Sombra cannot gain any ult charge for the first 4 seconds of EMP's duration. I decided to make this change in order for her to not be able to build up a large amount of EMP for the next team fight during a major team fight. Note, EMP's effects will not work on Sombra, regardless if she uses it or if a duplicated Echo uses it on her. This is only for the passive benefits. Her ally benefits will not work on her or if an allied Echo uses it. Now, on to the new thing that was added since my last rework vid. Perks. All but one of her current perks is going to be completely changed, with that one perk being just remaining as is for the most part, just getting a small rework to it. Nothing major. Again, I will note this is all speculation. If you feel these are too strong or too weak, please let me know in the comments. It's always good to hear other people's opinions on the matter. But without any further ado, let's get into the perks. First off, the minor perk that is going to be staying is Control Alt Escape. And while it still grants the passive health regen of Sombra's critical health if she uses Translocator, it will also increase her move speed by an additive 10% for 3 seconds. Again, only while at critical health. I am doing this change just because of the fact that it will give Sombra back that 60% move speed if she is truly needing to GTFO out of a very hairy team fight where most of her team is already dead and are falling back. And with the only perk that is staying out of the way, let's get on to the new perks. Her second minor perk, which I am calling a Viral Overload, allows Virus to rebound off the wall or floor once, as well as increase the max Pierce from 2 to 3, meaning that up to 4 people can be affected by a single use of Virus. Note, if you do try to rebound it onto yourself, it will not work on you. Like I said before, Sombra's own Virus cannot give her the positive effects. It can only give her the negative effects if it gets deflected by the enemy team. The reason why I made a little disclaimer when it came to how Virus will work with a duplicated Echo during the Virus portion of the video. Now, let's get on to the major perks. Her first major perk, which I will be calling Powerful Encryption, allows hacking to not be interrupted by enemy fire when hacking allies. It'll also make it so that hack's negative effects cannot be cleansed whatsoever. But the cooldown of hack is going to be increased by 15% if you select this perk. But I think the cooldown increase is a valid downside considering the sheer buff of being uninterrupted during hacks will give to the battlefield. Her other major perk, which I'm dubbing the Trojan Health Pack, makes it so that hacked health packs do not show up with Sombra's hack effect on them to enemies, unless the health pack is refreshing. Hacked health packs will also apply the non-hacked effect of Sombra's Virus, that being the damage vulnerability to enemies, or the attack speed boost for allies, to the respective teams. While not as powerful, due to the fact that hacked health packs are going to be a major changing point for Sombra, I've decided to just make it this little perk so it's just like, oh hey, Sombra's got chosen health packs now, the enemy has to be very pick and choosy of which health packs they grab, considering they won't be able to see them unless they are currently in refresh. And yeah, this has been my 2025 edition of the Sombra Rework. Like I said before, if anyone who's an expert in workshop coding wants to try and make this experiment, go right ahead. I hope y'all enjoyed this style of video. It's been a while since I've done a proper video like this, and if you want to see do more videos like this, please let me know by leaving a like on this video, dropping a comment down below if there's anything you feel like should be adjusted or changed. Constructive criticism is always appreciated in videos like these. And like always, my name has been Cryptograph Games. If you've watched till the end, you're a real one. And I shall see y'all in the next one. Take care.